Hey guys, this is Mark Yo here again, and welcome back to my channel. So last week during the 99 sales, I actually bought two phones. The first one is actually the Xiaomi Poco X3 NFC, which is still out of reach from my hand right now, which is a bummer. So I was actually expecting to unbox the phone during my channel, last few days. So congrats for those who actually got the phone, the Poco X3. And the second phone which I actually bought is the Realme X3 Superzoom, which I think is actually a value for money phone. So I've been using this phone for the past 1 week, and I have some thoughts on it, the pros and the cons. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first one is that it has a bright 6.6 inch 1080p IPS LCD screen. So even though this is a LCD screen, but fortunately the viewing angle is actually very nice. I'm actually quite impressed. If you don't tell me that this is actually a LCD screen, I won't even know. I would think that this is actually a AMOLED screen. So it has a 120 refresh rate, which make scrolling, app opening is actually fantastic. Okay, and also you have you can adjust the refresh rate if you go to setting, so you can actually auto select the best refresh rate for your phone. Depending on the action that you are doing, and also the app that you open. Or you can go 120 Hz full force all the time. Or if you want to save battery life, you can just select the 60 Hz. So, but of course it will make the experience less pleasant. So the second one is that it has a side mounted fingerprint, so it's actually pretty fast, as you can see. So you can auto tap to off, auto tap to wake. So it's actually pretty fast, very accurate, and also the setup is actually pretty fast also. So I'm actually quite impressed with the side mounted fingerprint. So this fingerprint scanner actually acts as a on off button also at the same time, but you don't have to really press it hard to actually wake the phone and also unlock the phone. So the third one is that, as you can see here, it has a very nice black, blue, and a bit greenish color gradient, which reflects light at different angle. Alright, and sadly to say, it's actually a fingerprint magnet also. Okay, and one thing just to take note is that even though it had the color gradient is actually nice, and also the back is actually made of glass, but it feels very cheap. It feels a bit cheap, very plasticky. If you compare to my last year's flagship, the Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, you can feel that the glass here is actually more solid than the one on Realme. Even my 2-year-old OnePlus 6 also feel better. It has these two phones, the OnePlus 6 and also the S10 Plus actually has very high quality glass, whereas this Realme, the glass here feels a bit cheap. So let's talk about the camera. One thing I like about it is that it has 4cm macro lens, which can take very nice macro shot, and also one of the cameras here actually supports 119 degree ultra wide angle lens shot. So for these two, I'm actually quite happy, these two functions. And also this phone actually supports 5x optical zoom. Of course, under bright daylight, you will be able to take very nice shot with the optical lens. And the next one, this phone, even though it's a 2020 flagship, but it only has the older last year Snapdragon 855 Plus chip. But even though it's a last year chip, but it still feel very powerful. So I mean, I'm able to play Sport 9 at 60 frames per second, and also for PUBG you can actually get the extreme setting, the HDR setting without any problem. It's still very powerful. So let's talk about the battery. So even though it has only have 4200 milliamp hour battery, but I'm very happy to report to you that it can support up to screen on time up to 7 to 8 hours of screen on time, which is actually pretty impressive. Okay, and also of course, provided you use it for normal usage, call, SMS, browsing, internet browsing, Facebook, WhatsApp, camera, non-gaming stuff, you'll be able to get 7 to 8 hours of screen on time, and also 1.5 day of usage. Pretty impressive. But if you leave it overnight for 8 to 9 hours with data on, so you will drop 4 to 5% over the night. So the app killing in the background is not really that aggressive. But if you have running on low juice, you'll be able to charge this phone using its stock 30 watt of dart charge, which is actually similar to OnePlus dash charge or warp charge. Okay, and also you'll be able to fully charge from 0 to 100 within 1 hour, which is quite impressive. But one thing I would like to point out is that the charging animation is pretty ugly. It's one of the ugliest charging animation that I've seen. Okay, let me show you the picture. Yeah, so this is the charging animation which I screenshot last few days. Oh my god, it's pretty ugly. It's one of the ugliest charging animation, but the charging speed is actually very impressive. And talking about the phone, it has a very clicky buttons, very solid and clicky buttons. It's not mushy, so it's pretty nice. And last but not least, if you are into heavy gaming, so coupled with Snapdragon 855 processor, and you have this vapor cooling tube inside. So if you I tried this phone gaming for more than 1 hour, you don't even feel any, you feel very less heat coming from the phone, so you don't feel uncomfortable. So this is actually a powerful phone for gaming, and also more comfortable gaming experience with less heat coming out from this phone. So good to Realme. Okay, I finished talking about the pros of this phone. Let's talk about the cons. So the first one, the pretty obvious one, of course this is 2020 right now, is that it doesn't have a 3.5mm headphone jack, which is a bummer. So you need a Type-C earphone or maybe wireless earphone for it. But the thing is, Realme don't even give a 3.5 to Type-C adapter inside the box. So I think this is quite disappointing. And of course, the thickness, it has a 8.9mm thickness. So for this kind of thickness, you should have added 3.5mm headphone jack on this phone. Compared to my older OnePlus 8, it's actually at, I would say, around 7mm thickness, but you still have a headphone jack here. So why can't you place a headphone jack here? Okay. And the second one is that it has a very, very huge chin. Okay, as you can see here, I mean, for 2020, you should have made the chin even thinner. Of course, even my 2018 OnePlus 8, I mean, similar chin size. Come on guys, this is 2020 right now, so you should make it a bit, a bit smaller. I mean, compared to last year's S10 Plus, can you see? Wow, the chin is actually gigantic. I mean, please do some homework, okay, Realme, please. And the next one is that this phone actually supports voice over LTE, but unfortunately I have my DG SIM card inside here, okay, and unfortunately it only supports 4G instead of 4G plus. So if I do a speed test, usually I will only get like, you know, meh speed. This is totally disappointing. But of course, for day-to-day use, app downloading and also browsing FB, Facebook, WhatsApp, totally no problem. But it would be better if it supports 4G plus on DG. But if let's say if you are using Maxis, even though you don't have voice over LTE, you will have 4G plus. So give and take, but it will be better if DG it supports DG 4G plus. And also it only has a single mono firing speakers at the below of the phone, and sadly it only supports average speaker loudness and also bass, which is, yeah, I would say it's actually slightly below average. Even my OnePlus 6 speaker also better sounding than this Realme X3 Superzoom. And also the next one is that, of course, this is quite a budget flagship phone, so they have to cut some corners. So they use plastic frame instead of metal frame. Well, plasticky glass, plastic frame. Luckily, the screen is actually made of Corning Gorilla Glass 5. And also, as I was saying, even though this is a vibrant screen, but under bright sunlight, you might have to bump up the brightness, so for better viewing experience and for you to see better. And lastly, the camera, even though it has a very nice optical zoom, macro shot, and also ultra wide angle lens, but still it struggles a bit for night mode, especially when you zoom it at 5 times, it will struggle. So of course, I'm only comparing it with my Samsung phones. To me, Samsung still has one of the best camera in the market right now for ultra wide and also for night mode. So that's all my presentation, and the verdict is a good buy if you can get this base model for less than 1,500. And also, if you need a phone for heavy gaming, you can actually buy this phone. This phone is actually a very good phone for gaming, and for normal photo taking under good sunlight, under good lighting, so it will take very nice pictures. But during night time, even though with night mode, it will struggle a bit still. And if you want a 5G phone, sorry, this phone only supports 4G plus max. So if you really want a phone less than 1,500 for some platform that you can get on Lazada or Shopee, on and off, you can get the Poco F2 Pro instead. But of course, the Poco F2 Pro only supports 60 Hz of refresh rate. So thank you guys for watching, and also thank you guys for all the supports, the subscribes, and all the comments, and all the supportive words. And take care guys, and hope to see you guys in the next video with my new Poco X3 NFC. Take care guys.